So good morning, I'm Rob Young, I'm with the Issaquah Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs. We're here to interview Victoria. Good morning, nice to see you. And at the Greater Issaquah Chamber of Commerce, we are known as having been the catalyst for business growth, the convener of leaders and influencers, and the champion for business growth on the east side. We advocate on business community, knowing that it's the business economy that ensures vitality of a community. It's important that our local leadership and chamber work closely in ensuring a stable, healthy environment for business. Balancing the needs for community to a realistic budget is our top priority. The chambers compile a series of questions that we'll ask for candidates to help us establish a solid understanding of the business community needs and understanding your perception of those needs and how you might plan to address them. So your question and answers will be recorded, shared with our community via our website, YouTube, Facebook, emails, and newsletter. So, to get started, and that's a long one, give us your name and what seat you're running for.
My name is Victoria Hunt, and I am running for Issaquah City Council seat number 6.
Okay, and how long have you been a resident of Issaquah?
I have been a resident for about 6 years now, and this is where me and my husband have also raised our 2 kids, and they are ages 5 and 2 years old.
Awesome, awesome. And do you work?
I do. I have 2 jobs. My first job is that I am an Issaquah City Council member, and I've been an Issaquah City Council member since February of 2018. And I also work as a data scientist for a team that models renewable energy integration in the U.S. electric grid.
Okay, and what is the name of that company?
That company is Global Good Intellectual Ventures, and the office is in Bellevue.
Okay, okay. And have you ever had any business experience owning a business?
I have not.
Okay. And have you been in an executive office position, whether it's in council or the business you work at now?
I have leadership experience as a Issaquah City Council member, and additionally I have done freelance work as a data analyst, and in that role I manage my own business.
Okay, got it. Understanding that budgets, profit statements, and balance sheets are really important, what kind of experience have you had working with those type of things?
As a Issaquah City Council member in the last budget cycle, I did work as a member of the City Council on preparing the budget. That's one of the most important things that the City Council does. And additionally, I crunch numbers all day as a data scientist, and before that, for many years, as a data analyst.
Oh, gotcha, okay. So, in 2 minutes, could you tell us what experience you would bring to this future city council that you're running for, and what qualifications that you would bring to the council?
I have a PhD in ecology, and this allows me to bring my knowledge of ecology into the role as an Issaquah City Council member to make sure that we have a strong environmental lens on our policy and that we have environmental stewardship at the forefront of what we do as a city. I think this aligns well with our community, which values our natural environment so much, and we have a truly beautiful natural environment. Additionally, I have worked previously as affiliate faculty at the University of Washington in the Urban Design and Planning Department, and also previously, before I was on council, I was on the Planning Policy Commission for the city as a commissioner. So those experiences have given me an understanding of land use and of planning that I also bring to the Issaquah City Council.
Okay, so this question's longer. The chamber is a catalyst and a champion for the business community. The economic vitality of any community is reliant on a healthy business sector. As a city councilman, how do you see your relationship with the chamber and the business community?
I see the chamber as a partner. As I mentioned in the previous question, I do not own a business in the city. But all of the city council members, I believe, we bring our own unique perspective to council, and we bring our own experience, and then we also represent our constituency that has very diverse perspectives. And so for the business community, I reach out to the chamber to understand the perspective of the business community on issues that are important priorities for the business community and issues that the community might have concerns about. So I see the chamber as a partner.
Oh, great. It's been reported that the Issaquah faces a $1.5 million deficit in 2019, and it could be as high as $5 million in 2020. Economic indicators show a slowing of the economy, and we have a number of businesses closing and moving out of the area that have doubled in 2019 versus 2018. These are serious challenges that will face City Council, and what are your plans to balance the budget and also include your position on B&O taxes?
The city does face budget challenges coming up. And the city has heard briefings on the budget, and we are about to start active deliberations on the budget in the coming weeks. So this is coming up very, very soon for us. There's also the potential for an economic downturn and the additional pressure that that brings to the issue. I think that in this budget, we will need to be particularly careful about prioritizing the things that are most important for the Issaquah community. And one of the things for me that is one of the reasons why I'm running for council is that I want to make sure that we preserve the qualities that make Issaquah such a great place to live, work, and play. One of those things is our environmental stewardship. If we degrade our environment, there's no rolling back that clock. I also think that we have a need to prioritize according to the strategic plan. The city went through an extensive process of identifying what's important to our community recently through development of a strategic plan, and that did include inputs from the chamber and from the business community. And in that process, we identified priorities, and I think as we look at the budget this year, we should be particularly cognizant that we need to prioritize and we need to focus on those things that are most important for the community. And the second part of the question was about B&O tax. This is a revenue for the city, and like all revenues, I think we need to make sure that there's value provided for the revenue that the city takes in. And I would look to the business community if there are particular concerns about that tax.
Okay, thank you. The TIP is known as the transportation plan is an important priority for the council this year. Knowing that transportation is a regional concern, the recent ruling against Sound Transit's car tap fees and our current budget concerns, where would you rate our priority of TIP in 2020, and what results would you personally like to see from that plan?
I think what I would like to see from the transportation improvement program is that it's easier for folks to get around town, and it's not only easier but also safer, and that there are more multimodal ways for people to get around town. So more efficient if you want to take a bike or walk part of the way, take a bus part of the way, or if you're in a car. And I know that this is also a concern for the business community. The businesses rely on people getting to their businesses or deliveries to their businesses, and transportation is a very important part of having economic vitality for our city. The TIP, we have a lot of acronyms, so the Transportation Improvement Program is a long list of prioritized projects. One that I will point out is the Providence Point intersection. This is a project to put in a signal, and this was one particular project that we had a lot of community input on, and a lot of feedback from the community that this was a long-standing promise that should be kept. And this is one item that I'll point out from the TIP that I feel we should proceed with and have supported.
Okay. So what is your perception of the permitting process in Issaquah, and how do you see that, how it can be improved?
There are many elements of the way that the city works that I think we could improve on in terms of user friendliness. I think this is something that the city is working on, and we, as a city council member, I think I should continue to work on this as well. So our website could be more user-friendly, and the permitting process, I believe, could also be more user-friendly and straightforward, and there are a number of other processes as well. So this is one element where I can look at our processes, but I also would look to the business community for understanding how those processes affect individuals.
Okay, okay. The state is evaluating changes of overtime rules for employees. The LNI's current proposal is to increase the threshold for executives and administration professionals who earn over $23,660, which is the federal guidelines, and that's been there for a long time, or 13,000 the state guidelines, and they're planning to increase it potentially to 80,000 by 2026. Does business support an increase to this threshold that given hasn't been increased for a while? So if so, what would they recommend? And the Trump administration recently proposed 35,308. How would this proposal affect, your business? It's a long one.
I would need to know more about the specific way that this potential legislation would affect the Issaquah community. I am not familiar with, I haven't heard any public comments on this or heard about how it might affect the Issaquah community, so I would need to do more research. And also I think that it sounds to me like this is something that would be considered at the state level, and the city does sometimes take positions, or the city council does sometimes take positions on state level issues, but I would definitely have to learn a lot more in order to make an informed decision about that.
So, the last one, we'd like to thank you for your time today, and we'd like to leave you with one last question. It's open-ended, so that you might speak directly to the business community that will be seeing this. And if you were to be elected to city council again, please tell the business community what you would do to support business and ensure their economic vitality.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you.
Sure.
One of the reasons why my family moved to Issaquah is because not only of our beautiful natural environment, but also because of our charming downtown. And a big element of having charming downtown and restaurants and having that live, work, play is that I think the business community is really vital to that. So as I work on Issaquah City Council, I work to identify the things that I want to preserve that make Issaquah a special place. And our charming small town feel and that business community that supports a vital economy is very important. I appreciate that the chamber gives information to the council about how different policies affect the business community, and I also appreciate that I can ask the chamber if there are specific questions about how different policies would affect the business community, so I appreciate that partnership. And one of my favorite things about being on the council is that I get to work with members of the community and understand different perspectives, and then find ways to improve the quality of life for the community in Issaquah. If there are any questions about any of my answers today or about any of my policies or my vision for Issaquah, I have a website for my campaign, which is victoriahunt.com, and I'm also on social media at Elect Victoria Hunt on Facebook. And I would welcome any input or any questions, and I'm always happy to grab a cup of coffee and chat.
That makes sense. Well, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.